Okay, part 10. Let's go. Manami, the door, Hiro. The door, Hiro. He was already trotting down the stairs, just seconds from entering the room. There was no place to hide, no time to run away, nothing to do but just stand there and wait for his eyes to meet mine. Oh, what are you doing here? Hiro, stay calm. Calm? Do you have any idea what you've done, Hiro? Any idea how much trouble I'll be in for over this? Look, Hiro, I can explain. I'm sure you can. But who's going to explain this to my superiors? Who's gonna deal with the uproar that this will cause? Me, that's who. Hiro began pacing around the room, ranting about things I could barely understand. He kept talking about the trust his superiors have vested in him, about the sacred oaths he sworn, about how he'd be the first found guilty of betraying the code in over a century. His stormy outbursts gradually descended into a series of tense mutterings. Then, as if strangled by his own endless circling thoughts, he went silent altogether. After several minutes, I worked up the courage to speak. I'm sorry, Hiro. I don't expect you to forgive me for what I've done. But I want you to at least hear the words, and I really have no idea what you're part of here. But whoever your superiors are, this is still just between you and me now, right? They don't know anything yet. His silence told me it was true. So why don't you explain some of this to me and see if we can come up with a plan together? Hiro remained silent, but I could see a decision formatting on his face. Breaking things off with me had been all about keeping me away from this room. Now that I was already here, the reasoning behind all the evasions and the secretiveness had suddenly evaporated. Why not? I could almost hear him say. Why not tell her? Why not tell her everything? Hiro asked me to sit down. Then he stood before me, and word by word, sentence by sentence, blew my mind to smithereens. There is a limited amount of love in the world. That's the first thing you need to understand. Thousands of years, when men and women were still pure of heart, people fell in love just once and stayed in love all their lives until they died. And when they died, the instant they died, a younger couple would receive their love like a gift from on high, and the whole process would start all over again. But men and women became selfish over time, and their hearts grew tangled and distorted. Such hearts are not always good vessels for true love. It was no longer given that love would last a lifetime. On the contrary, often it would flicker, dim, and extinguish itself in a matter of years or even months. And when love dies before its time, it's gone forever. It vanishes into the ether, never again to return. So you can see how there was a danger, a very real danger of love becoming extinct, of it dying out altogether. Thus were called into existence a select group of beings, neither human nor angel, neither flesh nor spirit, charged with saving love from extinction. We are called deliverers. We watch, we keep records, we try to nurture love when we can. But when we see it waning and withering and well beyond hope, we intervene. We take away from those who have failed to give it fertile ground, and we deliver it like a gift from on high to a new couple, to people who have yet to realize they are destined to be together. Does all of this make sense to you? I opened my mouth, but no words came. Part of me wanted Hiro to laugh and say it was all an elaborate prank, but I knew Hiro meant everything he said, meant it with all his heart. So there were really only two possibilities. Either Hiro was describing the world as it actually was, or else he was completely out of his mind. Finally, I managed a simple question. Are you telling me that you are not human? Not anymore, no. When I became a deliverer several years ago, I was transformed into a quasi-celestial being. Since that time, I have had no idea, I have had no need for sleep or food or even air. I cannot be killed, which is to say that I will live forever. Only that the hour of my death is preordained. Like all deliverers, I will die when Mother Freya, the goddess of love, decides that my work is finished. My heart was pounding. Hiro really was crazy. There was no other reasonable explanation. He had somehow deluded himself into believing all this, and now he was asking me to join him in his madness. And yet maybe, just maybe, I've seen you in town taking notes. Sometimes there's a bird. Ah, so you noticed Anra. Anra, did you? Very observant. Anra, she's not a bird, though she takes the form of one when she chooses. Let's see if I can't call her forth for you. Hiro closed his eyes and assumed a look of intense concentration. Then he lifted his hands, palms up, before his face, and a tiny glowing sphere appeared. It grew larger and larger, and out of thin air a creature came into being right before my very eyes. The glowing sphere began to fade, and the creature descended to the floor before me. This is Enra. So I had seen something at the bottom of the basement stairs that night. I seen Enra.